Kyle Pitts. Where you got him?
Absolute baller in this draft, man. Some people say this is the best player in the draft. This is definitely the most unstoppable guy in the draft at his position. It's like when Bosa came in just a couple drafts ago, and people are saying, oh, this is best potentially be the best pass rusher in football already. Definitely the best pass rusher coming out of college. Look at Kyle Pitts coming out of Florida. It's like literally like a slightly bigger Megatron, DK Metcalf at tight end, whatever you want to call it at this point. This guy's hands are ridiculous. He can make any catch. He's absolutely going to mosh you. He's quick off the line as a tight end as well. And this is a guy that you could put into the slot at a tight end position because we remember a lot of Jimmy Graham in his earlier days. Great pass catcher for New Orleans at the tight end spot. But he also lined up in the slot as well, and he would do very well because he's got the speed, he's got the hands, he's got the sides. And when you think about your modern day tight end in Kelsey, Gronk, Kittle, Darren Waller, he definitely reminds you of it feels like a bigger Darren Waller in a way because he's got the speed, he's going to bring the hands, and he's going to be physical. He's going to push you around. And this is a matchup nightmare at the end of the day. When you have a running back who can have the special size, or especially a tight end who you could put at the fullback position, like I said, this guy's so versatile, you can maybe even bring him around on an end around or a jet sweep, whatever you want to think about. Kyle Pitts is the most dominant player at his position in this draft. Maybe he should be the number one pass catcher against, ahead of Jamar Chase. The guy is an absolute monster. And when you look at the size and the fact that he plays with all hands and no frame, he is immediately pushing guys around. He is immediately pushing guys around on the line of scrimmage. The only thing I'd like to see is to pick up some blocking better. It feels like he's more of taking a block rather than giving a block. With that size, and with your figure on the field, I mean, you're like a fridge on the field, and you can run a 4.4. I mean, seriously, if he can learn to block, he will definitely be a top tight end coming into the NFL already because he's got it in him. There's no question. He's got the speed. He's got the work ethic coming out of the SEC. The only thing that I saw that could be a downfall to him is you put him on a really tight corner. We saw J.C. Horn hold him to one catch for 20 yards. Now, we are talking about J.C. Horn, but it shows that there is a little bit of kryptonite to the Superman. It seems like Kyle Pitts here. And when you look at everything that he can bring to the table, whatever NFL team gets him, they're immediately going to reap what he brings to the table. This is a guy that is primed to be a top receiver in his first year, and we could be looking at a top tight end already, maybe just in his sophomore year in the NFL. Let's be real with it, guys. He reminds you a lot of your modern day tight ends that are just dominating the game at this moment.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the only way we would see a J.C. Horn repeat is if he goes to a team like the Jets or something where he's out there and he's the number one option and the quarterback's fail-safe and everything.
Yep.
Any other place he goes to where they actually have any other viable options, then there's no way that happens. He's got to be the only option for someone to single him out and do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
he will draw some double teams, though. Telling you, that's a tight end. That man's going to draw some double teams.
But I mean, in 8 games, he had 43 receptions for 770 yards. So, I mean, that's almost 100 yards a game at tight end.
Jesus.
12 touchdowns and 17.9 yards of reception at tight end. Tight ends don't put up those kind of numbers. I mean, he's definitely trending towards the Kelsey and Kittle type level.
Yeah.
I mean, his NFL comparison is Darren Waller. He's kind of a combination of all of them.
I'm telling you.
I mean, running a 4.4 40, you can definitely run him on the end arounds. He's good running out of the slot, and he's actually a willing blocker. He's not a great blocker,
right,
but he does block.
That's the way to say it.
He tries. He'll get in front of you. He'll make what is at least enough to get in the way so a running back can get around. He'll protect the quarterback if you keep him back in past protection. So, I mean, he's definitely a better blocker than Kelsey. Travis Kelce doesn't block anything. He's an overglorified receiver at tight end. So, I mean, I can already say he's a better blocker than that guy, and you know how good Kelce is. So it's not a slight to him, but we all know that dude don't block nobody. So, I mean, outside of that, man, Kyle Pitts is the best non-quarterback prospect in this draft. We can't say he's a better prospect than a Trevor Lawrence because the quarterback position is basically the lifeline of your entire franchise.
Oh, absolutely.
But outside of quarterback, it's Kyle Pitts. I mean, he can line up anywhere, way too fast for any linebacker to cover, too big for a corner. So that means you're going to have to roll a strong safety or a free safety down that can actually hang with him, which now opens up your running game because you got a safety tied up, worried about your tight end. I mean, he's a red zone touchdown machine.
Yeah.
He's winning the jump balls. He's really fast. It was like, in addition to the fact that you can't just jump over the top of him, he can run away from you. So, I mean, a lot of these red zone possessions, he just gets open because he's too fast.
Exactly.
He's got great hands. So, I mean, the only downside to him is that he's not an immaculate blocker. But most of you that get on Kyle Pitts for his blocking will also turn around and tell me that Travis Kelce is the best tight end in the NFL. And he don't block at all. It's like, which one is it? He don't have to block. He blocks a little bit. So, I mean, it's not all bad. I mean, you look at him in the biggest games. Against Alabama with their destroying and smothering defense.
Yeah.
7 catches, 129 yards, and a touchdown, and that was in the SEC championship game. I mean, that was a major game. He went off for 8 for 170 and 4 touchdowns against Ole Miss, and then he blitzed Tennessee for 7 catches and 128 yards. I mean, these are ridiculous numbers for a tight end. For a wide receiver.
He'll easily be a 1,000-yard receiver in the NFL his second, third year.
For a wideout, you're like, oh, man, he had a really good game. For a tight end, you're like, excuse me? What position does he play? How did he do that?
T-E.
I mean, outside of the first 3 draft picks, which are clearly going to all be quarterbacks, he should be the first non-quarterback taken off the board. Don't know if he'll go 4 because we don't know what the Falcons are going to do with that pick. But the first team to not pick a quarterback needs to pick Kyle Pitts.